Recording in progress.
Alright, good morning, good afternoon, all depends on when you're watching this video. This is Javen speaking, the founder of Pharo Markets. So I want to apologize first of all for taking so long with this video. I don't know what's going on with my mics, so I found an alternative method to actually record, and I hope the sound is perfect. I hope you guys really enjoy this video. So as you guys can see over here, I have oil in front of me, and I'm gonna cover oil, and I'm gonna record another video on CAD yen as you guys requested. And then my request to you is everything I cover in here, if there's anything you don't understand, like to cover again, feel free to just ask me again, right? And just drop it in the chat in the group, and I'll record another video, and also maybe recommend a pair so you can see that this works on every single pair, every single market. So first things first, how do I approach the market recently? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop up some text over here so you can actually see it. So one of the first things I look at recently, or one of my no, I wouldn't say new approaches. So a lot of you have been asking me, do I trade ICT now? And I don't want to label myself as a PTMM trader or ICT trader, SMC trader, whatever the case may be. I just look at the masses, the herd, and I look what they're doing. And obviously, there's flaws in what everyone's doing, and I look at what they're doing wrong and I capitalize on that. Like I said in all my previous videos, trading is 70% psychological, 20% money management, and 10% skill. So the psychology plays a very, very big role. And with the psychology, when I mean psychology of it, is the geopolitics, the fundamentals, the technicals, the price action, the structure, the order blocks, the institutional levels. All these things play a very, very big role. Another thing you guys also asked me is the market maker method still relevant? And yes, it is. It's still very relevant because I still use some of its concepts till this day. For example, the M&W concept, the vectors, the level counting. It still plays a role till this day. The fake moves, it happens every single day. The only difference is times have changed. For example, I mean, look how BTM has blown up. Do you think the market makers don't know that we trade that? So like seasons, conditions change, same as in the market, conditions change over time. So one of the, actually guys, if you guys have been following us on our website, we have an article based called A Crude Awakening, and basically it covers why we believe oil will crash eventually. Look over here, it says US oil. So oil is basically semi-attached to the dollar. It's called the petrodollar. Alright, now the dollar is weak. The dollar is technically weak. We only have the idea that it's strong because we all use it for online transactions, and because most of the world's gold is stored in America in their vaults, and therefore the money is technically backed on the gold there. But we all know that they print more than they should. But apart from that, what do I do recently to approach the market? I look at the bigger picture. So the first thing I look at is I look at the monthly time frame. And the reason being is I want to see a long-term bias. And what I mean by this is, so if you have a long-term bias, say for the next 2-3 weeks, that means you know for the next 2-3 weeks you're only looking for buys, and there's the confusion of or the interruption of selling is not present in the mind. Right, so that's what I do on the monthly time frame. So I flip on that and I look for the highs and lows. And by highs and lows, I mean the high and low of the year, of decades, quarters. You know, they play a very, very big role. Then I look at the supply and demand within those highs and lows, right? So technically, then the supply demand is technically you can see it as an order block as well. See, so there's a lot of terms that you can use to there's a lot of terminologies you can use for your trading. So you'll see as well when I start drawing my horizontal lines, I have a lot of lines. So if a retail trader looks at my chart, they don't really understand what they're looking at, obviously, but I mark them up in such a way that I know what is written where and why I take certain positions. So I just want to also say I recorded a video before this using this new method, but I didn't press record. I don't know whether it's because my so I'm doing is I'm recording on my phone, but recording the screen on my laptop. So I'm just edit the video and add the audio to it. So I'm just scared when I don't know whether in the other one with the phone locked and the video stopped recording. So I'm just check every few minutes. So then after supply and demand, I look at structure. Right, this is some type of ICT concept, and within the structure I look at was there some type of break of structure, some type of BOS. And by structure I mean like things like equal highs or equal lows. What's the other thing they call yeah, this, so like I said, this will be additional terminologies out there, but this is the top 5 things I more or less look at, and that's what we'll cover more or less over here. So like I said, I look at the monthly time frame, I look for my highs and lows. So as you can see over here, we're currently 2022. Right now I have broken down it. I have broken down the time frame into 10 years. So here is 2010, here is 2020, and we are now in a new decade. Now over here is the last decade's high. Right now the top order block. Now at the high, as you can see, the scan over here, I see this as an order block. Now as you can see, more or less half of that block, the equilibrium where this alert is set, this alert at 110.5. That's my point of interest, right? My POI is there. So then obviously let me add here. Once you have this checked, then you should have a POI, a point of interest. Right now I have sent out analysis on this pair. I will attach it to this video, and you will understand why I have set it alert here. Now as you go from the bigger time frame to the smaller one, you'll eventually find your strike zone. That makes sense. So it's like a puzzle. If you decipher the bigger picture wrong, you'll get the smaller picture wrong. Does it make sense? Okay. Now, and obviously this is last decade's low. Now look, this is obviously the COVID crash. As you can see, we have 1, 2, 3 vectors. Look at this massive hammer, the crash, and then we had price skyrocket all the way up. Now that is clear market maker pattern right there. But like I also said, the bigger the M&W, the bigger the move. Now this is spread over a 4-year period, right? Now this is obviously a very, very big move. Now I doubt price will come all the way back down here. However, I hope so. Now there's a lot of theory behind my trading, right? Geopolitics. As traders, we don't understand the real life effect our trading has on this. We don't sometimes realize the effect our investments have in the real world. For example, even was buying oil when the war in Russia started, so eventually the price of oil went up, but they don't realize that gas prices went up. What about people not trading, people living in poverty? You know, that actually put the lower class in even more debt, put them in an even worse position. Understand what I'm trying to say? And this is why, like I said, guys, okay, I'm not going to go deep into this, but there's a lot of things happening in the world which will kind of set balance into things. Now, for example, right now on oil there is an imbalance, if I should put it that way, right? okay, so when I talk about, okay, I'll cover imbalances very soon, later on in the video and also in other videos. I don't want us to go off track because there's so many things I want to cover and talk about. Now over here we can see that that is obviously like a stop hand, and we can see price kind of hit this 1, 2, 3 and drop. You can kind of see it's a half Batman for that drop. However, I also see this candle right over here as an order block. Let me actually just adjust my settings on my thingy quickly, so when I flip over I don't miss it. Just clone this, and then like I said, I also see this as an order block. Right, and obviously as you can see, this is two order blocks, so look how price is reacting in the zone. So obviously think about also this, look at this massive wick. Think about it in the sense of momentum, right? You are running, think of you as a candle, right? And that order block as a group of people. You are a strong person, you try and run through all these people. Maybe you might run all the way to the end, but eventually if people realize your strength, they're going to push you back because they're more than you. Understand what I'm trying to say? Imagine an order block like that, what happened right over here, that fight, that pushback. So price is literally fighting within this order block, either to go up or go down. And what either happens within these two blocks will determine where price will go over the next few months or weeks, right? Now, like I said, we find our highs and lows, so I'm not really gonna mark up anything way over here because right now we're focusing on this point. Now, like I said, we look at our high time frame, find our highs and lows, we find our supply and demand order blocks, and then we look at structure, equal highs, equal lows, and we look for a break of structure, and we find our point of interest. Now right over here we had some equal highs, right? Hold on. Right over here we had some equal highs, and then over time we saw a break of structure right over here, right? We saw price broke up, came back, and then broke the zone. This is our POS. Now, seeing that price has broken above this point, like I said, there is imbalances here. Now, what an imbalance is when, let me look for an example quickly. An imbalance is when you have a candle like this. Let's make a slight example real quick. Over here, see how we have this candle, right? This candle has wicks, right? See this wick here? Make this red. See that wick there? Then notice this candle pushes all the way through. Notice this gap between this wick and this wick. Alright? Notice there's another wick over. Yeah. Alright? So there is an unfold zone. Right? So this is an imbalance in the market. Right, this is the imbalance in the market. So price has to come balance itself out, which means lawfully market makers can't manipulate this market to a further extent. The central banks can't push inflation up even more because they're gonna hurt people in the lower class. So price will have to balance itself out, come to the imbalance zone. The cost of living has to come back down. People have to get back on their feet. Governments have to get the shit in order. Understand what I'm trying to say? Now, as traders, we have the ability to shift this market as well. Like I said, if all of us sell at the right time, and if all of us see the same thing, which the banks see, like I said, they have to correct this. They're gonna fix it. So this is obviously a trade idea and shows how you will benefit from this, right? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just make this invisible, but so it will always be on the weekly, but we just want to see it in the other time frames because I want this to be something we can look back on and laugh about when we make money. Right, so this is straight price to go back down to that point. So let's go back on the weekly. Now you must understand that if you make an order block on the monthly time frame, you can have a very big order block on the weekly, daily, and the 4-hour. So what I do is I go back to my zones and I refine them. That becomes the high of that candle, and that's the low of that order block. What I then also do is, this is what I mentioned about the lines which confuse the retail traders. Okay, I'm gonna have to pause this real quick because it's someone at my door.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
So yes, like I was saying, sorry about that. That's that interruption. So then what I do is I mark my lines in the sense of the order block, the order blocks. So what I would then do is I would put in MOB for monthly order block. And then I'll move back in time again. Refine this one all the way to the last one. Now add another line, indicate a line for me to indicate that this is another monthly order block. And from there on, I'm setting the weekly. Okay, just have to make this right. So as you can now see, now we have our order block nice set up, but now it's not, it's very but now can I put it over here? Like I said, now we're focusing on this point over here, right? But as you can see, it's kind of messy in a say, or not messy, but it's not visible. So what I didn't do is I'll go on the daily time frame. And now I have to make a few more indications, because understand that now this is this is 2022's high. Right, and then this is 1st of March. This is the 1st of April. And this is last month's low. I'll make this like an orange color. Just put this in brackets. March. Right, so as you can see now, it looks much more clear, and now you have a safe spot to actually work in. So I also want to mark up beginning of this year 2020 so you can actually see where the year started. Now on the open sentiment, those of you know what it is, the open sentiment covers how the first candle of the week, day, or month closes. So the first candle of this year, the daily close on a bullish candle, right? So sentiment for this year is bullish. So the candle opened with the green line over here as a open sentiment. As you can see, it's under 75.39 level, more or less under 75 level, which is the institution level. So as long as price trades above this point, you are a buyer. But obviously you can't buy when high. That's pretty dumb thing to do, because you buy when low, sell when high, and sell when high and buy when low, right? So you obviously then wait for price to come back to this point. Like I said, this is most likely where we will be selling to and see how price reacts over here. Like I said, also this is where price will start balancing things out. In fact, on the weekly, let me actually see something. If I go to that imbalance zone, and if I make it visible, I could actually make it visible so we can see where we're trading to. Right, so as you can see, this is that imbalance zone, right? So price will most likely balance itself out over here. So price will come in here. As you can see, there's a potential zone price will then come to. So if there's orders below the imbalance, stop hunt low, something to expect, right? It makes a lot of sense. I hope it makes sense. So let's go even deeper into this pair, the 4 hour, and this will kind of explain why this zone is set up over here. So as you can see, my monthly order blocks correlate exactly with my strike zone, my point of interest, right? Now I don't put it exactly in the box, but just if I'm looking for price to go into the, okay, it's so confused with supply and demand, into the resistance zone, I wanted to alert me beforehand, not when price gets getting too late. So when before price day, I want to monitor how price reacts and so forth, and vice versa. If you try waiting for price to trade into the support zone, you put price you alert just above it, so you monitor when price goes into the zone. Now, the reason why I say why I'm so confident oil will go down is because I mentioned this before. We can clearly see that this was a hidden shoulder pattern over here. So this was obviously the right shoulder, and then this was the head, and then this was the right shoulder. Now I'm currently expecting price to trade, because let me put it this way. Over here you see that we have a break of structure more or less over here, right? But we can't necessarily buy or sell from here, because let me show you why I say that. If you look at the line chart, we kind of have another head and shoulder formation within the right shoulder. So if that's level 3 characteristics according to PTMM, that drops, right? This becomes level 1 consolidation. level 2 consolidation, this becomes W. So you can also see this as MAAW, right? So W, that means price must go up, level 1 consolidation, 2 consolidation, 3 consolidation, because price will reset. Like I said, it sounds crazy because I'm confident price will turn here. Like I said, geopolitics definitely very well. This is institutional level over here, 10,000 and 11250. Right, the 11250 was more or less the equilibrium zone of this order block. So if I actually mark up this candle, right, and change the color. Okay, so I'm just also put this in here so you can see this is the H4 order block or slash point of interest. Wait for price to trade to this equilibrium zone right above that zone. So more or less our strike zone is on that purple line or that line or on that line, depending, but within that zone we're going to be selling. So we're looking for price to trade up. There's multiple reasons why this will happen, because also, like I said, retail traders follow anything that the market tells them. So if this becomes a trend, right, this is obviously a breakout and retest, so people are going to buy, right? However, I think it's too early to buy because we have an imbalance right over here. Wick, no fall, wick, right? So imbalance, H4 imbalance on, right? Now if they buy on the retest, if they buy on the retest, it might be too early and they'll get stopped out. However, if they sell based on a move like this, and they sell here, and price won't necessarily drop. Price will most likely do this and continue trend to the upside, right? So that was what I'm expecting. I'm expecting price to hit this imbalance, expecting price to do something like this, and then drop. That's my view for oil. Buy from here, obviously. Nice tight stop loss. Buy to the target. See how price reacts to the target. Wait for some news events. Wait for some people to panic in the market. And obviously we look to sell to the downside again. So it's very simple trade zone to zone, and yeah, this will work itself out. So that is on oil. Very very simple breakdown. If there's anything to understand, feel free to ask me questions. The next thing I'm gonna record is oil. So like I also said, if there's any other question, any other page I want me to break down, just let me know, and then